Hey y'all, Ms. B, and it's very late, but I wanted to get on here and talk about day 30 of the Diddy trial. Today, everybody woke up with, oh my God, the government has dropped charges against Diddy, which was not true. I'm not a lawyer. I don't pretend to be a lawyer, but I have been following this case even though I have not done any long form content in a while. And I feel like the government has really poured it on really thickly as far as this case, where now they have to put in certain languages and rewrite things to make it more simplified for the jury. Because today, it wasn't that Diddy charges got dropped, they changed the language of it. And I watched Law and Crime, I watched so many lawyers, they're confused. This is a very, very complicated case. I want to say it reminds me of when you watch documentaries about the OJ case and you hear the old jurors talk about, well, we didn't understand DNA. That's when DNA first was like a thing used in a major case. We didn't understand DNA, so it didn't make sense to us. So essentially that's how OJ got off. And first they were sequestered and they were ready to go. But I think this is kind of the same thing with our current day court situation with these jurors. These are regular people just like you and I. Not to say they're dumb, but we're not lawyers. We didn't go to school to be lawyers. They're arguing about constitutional rights and if this language should be in the jury summation, the jury summary, and the jury orders that's going to be 44 pages or 42 pages long. I just feel, to me, I'm not a lawyer, I'm just going to say from a person that's been following the case, even if I'm not on YouTube or watching people can recap, even like the content creators that are down there, they didn't do any videos today. It was just like straight lawyers giving this take or that take. I will say, just me, just watching, reading. The trial started off so strong with Cassie and, all the things she said, which we knew that was going to be the bring everybody in. But to me, the government really lost a lot of people's interest. I even did a short form content where I'm like, I'm over it. Like, get to the end of this. It's because they had 34 witnesses. Diddy had none. He got up yesterday and said he waived his right to testify his own trial. That's the only time he's spoken out loud in the courtroom. I feel like a lot of these witnesses that the government brought up could have been eliminated, and you could have just got to the meats and potatoes of it. For example, Mia. I think that's the last long form content I did. I did not understand where they were going with Mia's testimony. It didn't seem like it helped it any. That's kind of when people kind of started kind of like, okay, what is going on here? Dawn, I think Dawn was before Mia. I said this in my video I did on Dawn. I don't even know why the government even called Dawn in. And plus, she's currently still suing him. I also want to say Jane. Jane, to me, I don't know how the government thought that she was a good witness. The man is literally still paying for the place over her child's head and her attorney's fees. And Rod Mango said when she left the courtroom after her 6-day testimony, she hugged both Teeny Geragos, the defense, and Maureen Comey, the prosecution. Which I'm like, y'all wasted 6 days on this woman, actually, to tell us that she's basically still in love with this man. The drug mule. They kept saying, oh, the drug mule, the guy who got arrested when Diddy's plane, he was trying to leave in his plane, got arrested with the drugs on him. He basically got up there and said, oh, I actually forgot to put them in such and such bag. That was my fault. I feel like the prosecution did such a great job at the beginning, and then it started to get very boring. Going through text messages. One of the things that they were arguing about in the legalese way was Capricorn Clark's testimony and Kid Cudi's. Ruling out the state law on arson in California for Kid Cudi and kidnapping for New York and California for Capricorn Clark. I feel like, to me, those were the most riveting testimonies. But they had to change the language. And then it's also confusing of how much time the prosecution put into his bedroom life. Now, granted, I believe Diddy's guilty. I believe, honestly, we've been hearing about Diddy for years. I thought this trial was going to bring out some of the things we allegedly been hearing about him for years, but most of it was hotel nights, freak offs, just his bedroom life. And if I'm saying, yeah, I believe he's guilty, but if I'm a jury and I have certain instructions to follow, which I was watching Law and Crime, they were still arguing about basic names, just wording, language, me versus may, be versus thee, like little letters. They was literally arguing about that till late tonight. I went to everybody's channel. I went to every media site. And I'm just like, everybody's confused. Like, everybody is confused. And I don't understand why the prosecution took this long, drawn-out angle to try this case. I understand it's RICO. RICO is very complicated, but I feel like there could have been other ways to make it more simplified. Because, I mean, like, you have like legal attorneys, litigators, all on YouTube, all on socials, all everywhere. Like, we're confused. We're confused. Like, they're arguing about words. They're arguing about language. Well, I think this should be here. I think this should be here. I just feel like I don't understand why they went this route. It seems to me, based on how the defense did their opening, was that the government is just trying to get in his bedroom. I mean, based on what we heard. Now, there are other things that, the prosecution probably wanted to put in, but it was challenged, this and that. But I just feel like I thought this case was going to be a lot more information of the things we've been hearing for a long time. I also want to say, I feel like probably after Cassie's mama, after Capricorn Clark, after Kid Cudi, and a few assistants, not every last one he had since 2000, whatever, they should the prosecution should cut it off. Then they had a summation person to go through each and every text message that he's ever sent to Cassie, Jane, anybody. I don't, maybe they're just out of touch with the perception of how people in everyday lives, they got bills, got things going on, think. Because it's obviously clear they're not reading the room. It's obviously clear they're not reading the room of what everybody's thinking. Nobody understands constitutional law. Nobody understands that. They said what the occupations of all the jurors are. None of them are constitutional scholars. I don't understand, like, why they went this extreme legalese route instead of making it very simple. The defense did. That was brilliant of them to, we don't have no witnesses, Diddy not testifying, and them just to argue back and forth with the government and the judge over the language of the jury instructions. I think that was a very great, very smart move on the defense. They said Alexandria Shapiro yesterday was arguing about how it should be acquittal and raised a lot of concerns of what the government proved and what they have not proved. And reading some of that transcript, I kind of agree with her. Not to say he's not not to say he's not guilty. It's just like, you have to prove he's guilty. That's why that states had to take back the Kid Cudi incident. Yes, we all believe allegedly that Diddy did this or had somebody do this. I mean, he wasn't super enough to do this, to go make a Molotov cocktail and do it itself. But then the fact that the fingerprints went missing and all that, like, where, like, y'all the government, like, y'all have all the resources, y'all have all the things that like a regular person don't know or don't have. Homeland Security raided this man's house simultaneously on both coasts. Like, what else y'all got other than baby oil and Astroglide? It will be interesting to see the prosecution's angle on closing. So I was watching Law and Crime, and it seemed like they finally came to some type of happy medium on the legalese language of the jury instructions, which again is going to be 42 pages. God, I couldn't imagine being on this jury. They came to some conclusion on that, but they're supposed to start. You never know. Somebody might input some more language overnight. We never know. They're supposed to start closing arguments. The prosecution's supposed to start 2 hours. They said to 10. Start at 10. Give them 2 hours lunch break. Then another 2 hours. Then defense starts, and then the prosecution has an hour to rebut the defense's, close arguments. I just feel like Diddy's team did a good job of raising doubt. I mean, based on what we saw in the jury instructions. Do I feel like this man is guilty? Yes. Do I feel like he should go to jail? Yes. Do I feel like the prosecution did a good job of proving that? No. And that's why I just stayed up late tonight. Excuse me, just to go through the articles, media, to see, did anybody get any understanding of today other than them arguing back and forth about legalese in language of the jury instructions? Because what they don't want to do is the jury to, I read this too, they don't want it to fall into the 4th of July of the jury deliberating, because it might go good for the prosecution that it happens like that, and because they may rush to judgment, or it might go good for the defense. You don't want, I was listening to one lawyer saying, you don't want the jury to go into a holiday weekend deliberating, essentially. But that's what I want to get on here today and talk about with day 30 of the Diddy trial. I really, really, really thought it was going to be more like this. All y'all found and raiding this man home was a whole bunch of baby on Astroglide. I mean, we knew about the Cassie video. They even argued the bribery to the hotel worker who clearly took a bribe from Diddy to get the tape from the Intercontinental. They argued about that. They raised doubt in that because they were saying, okay, well, Cassie got on the phone on FaceTime when he asked, is she gonna file charges? Does she know that I have this tape and she know that it's out there? Is she gonna go file a police report? And when Diddy calls her up on FaceTime, she said, oh no, I'm not gonna do that. I also feel like they want to bring up all his girlfriends, Cassie, Jane Doe, or her. I think she was a horrible witness. I feel like they should have had that therapist at the end of those women's testimonies, because both of them kind of gave the impression that they still kind of love that man. Maybe not Cassie, Jane definitely. They still loved him. I mean, we all know that he's charismatic. We know he's an entertainer. He know how to entertain. He's been doing this crap since the early 90s. He's been probably doing way more stuff than we would ever know or ever see about. But the government, y'all couldn't find it? Like, y'all couldn't find it? Anyway, y'all, that's my quick 30-day, not quick, but look up a 15-minute summation of my thoughts on day 30 of the Diddy trial. I'm very interested to see how closing arguments go, which way the prosecution is going to take. I'm curious to see how the jury's going to deliberate this. I'm very curious to see, is this the end of the Diddy era? Because you know he's been charged with a crime before and acquitted. And he literally did shoot the lady in the eye, allegedly. Anyway, y'all have a good night. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I didn't want to like do too much thinking about what I was going to say on this video. I just wanted to come off the top of my head with all my thoughts and all the things. So I hope it didn't sound like a lot of rambling. But I want to get y'all's opinion. Do y'all agree that the prosecution did a good job of raising a great case to make anybody go, yeah, absolutely not, give him life? Or do y'all feel the defense did a great job of poking holes in their story and was like, no, I see some doubt here. Is this really about his sex life? Like, or, you know, is this really a RICO? Anyway, y'all, like, comment, subscribe. It's late. About to go wrap my hair and go to bed. It's Mrs. B. If they do closing arguments tomorrow, I'm definitely going to get back here and do a little longer form content. If they don't, I'll probably do short form in a short and give my thoughts on there. Anyway, bye, y'all.